in KD's first free agency go round. I had him pinned for the Boston Celtics or the Washington Wizards, but I wanted to know who was on those Boston Celtics teams. Trying to remember. Was that Kyrie and Jason Tatum in them?
So that was Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder. Then their big men were Kelly Olynyk, Jonas Jerebko. I think that was his first name. Those Celtics teams are kind of the little engine that could have IT man in the helm. One thing I'll say to y'all is you talked about before, Brandon, Jalen Brown, how you think he's a number one option. I
Can
think
be
that
can be a number one option.
I think the scoring package is there. He's one of the best on ball defenders. But I don't think people quite realize the responsibility and the task that necessarily comes with that. He was the Celtics' best player in the finals, but at large, that was due to Jason Tatum. Remember last postseason, Jalen Brown did not play. Jason Tatum was going to battle at the Nets in the first round. That was a 5-game series. He goes to the Olympics right after. He has a shorter offseason. He then is top 5 in the NBA in the regular season minutes played. He's probably top 1 because he led the NBA in minutes during the postseason as well. So I feel like the wear and tear, the 100 games Jason Tatum played regular and postseason combined, that is why Jalen Brown looked better. And I think if you put him in a place like Brooklyn, they would be very competitive. They'd be a lot of fun to watch because Jalen Brown can sell tickets. And heck, I think if he's getting 23 shots a game, he can put up at least 28 just like Tatum. But I don't think he can necessarily carry a team the same way because I think Tatum is a more well rounded player. He's a better off ball defender. He's a little bit of a better playmaker and passer. I think when it comes to getting to the rim, while he lacks some of the athleticism and that juice Brown has in terms of burst, at the same time, he has a better handle. He has better moves in terms of spins and footwork, that sort of stuff, I think kind of makes up for that. Now, there's another thing you talked about before. They should be the number one seed every year. I think with this Kevin Durant trade, while you're sacrificing a piece of depth or two, the Celtics can't afford that because they have quality depth, but they don't have a lot of depth. And there's a big difference there. There's 7 guys deep, and you can trust those 7 guys. But once he gets number 8, Payton Pritchard, you can't always trust him. And so I feel like if I'm the Celtics, not only am I not doing this trade as the
I would
initial
I would
offer,
say, I would just say just to, not going into this year because they made the deal for Malcolm Brogdon and they brought in Danilo Gallinari, so they can go 8 deep now. That would be their eighth man would be Gallinari. I think after that would be probably oh no, actually it would probably be Grant Williams. Yeah, so their bench would probably be depending on where Malcolm Brogdon goes, either Brogdon or Smart, Derek White, Gallinari, and then Grant Williams. So I think right now, yeah, 9 deep. They could go 9 deep now. I would give you that for last season and seasons prior, but this season coming up, they have the quality depth and the depth.
Gallo is a one-way player, though. I think in the postseason there will be series where he can't be on the floor. You look at a team like maybe not Philadelphia because you can throw him on Tobias Harris, but I look at maybe Giannis in Milwaukee. Those backup center minutes he can't really play, and I think what can give you good shooting and size in the regular season. I'm talking about in the postseason is that guy you can trust on. We haven't necessarily seen that in Atlanta outside of when he got to be thrown onto Ben Simmons. That's neither here nor there. I think for the Celtics, the Nets then wanted Marcus Smart. I'm surprised they didn't want Time Lord and Jalen Brown. I guess that's because Sean Marks knew if I even asked her this, Brad Stevens is hanging up the phone because that's to me, in my opinion, the Celtics' second and third best players. I think Kevin Durant's really good, but he's turning 34 years old, and to me, while his game can age well, when you just look at the injuries, I don't see his prime lasting more than 2 years. And you can talk about them being number one seed every year, Jalen Brown. You almost can't with Kevin Durant. He's not giving you any more than 55 games. I'm not going to overreact to this too much. I did initially because I think Jalen Brown will remember that the team was willing to move him in 2 years. And if he feels a certain type of way, maybe his relationship then is not as strong as it is now with Ime Udoka. Maybe they have 2 tough playoff exits and him and Jason Tatum aren't as close as they are currently. There is a world where the Celtics can be concerned that Jalen Brown, this is just me speculating, will leave in 2 years. And I think that's part of why they're willing to even loosely toss him into this discussion. They're not entirely sure that he's going to extend and be here for the next 4 to 6 seasons. We're going to get the entire prime of JB.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think the problem is with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown having an issue with each other because Jason Tatum did come out after the reports came out. He said he was interviewed or something, and he basically said to paraphrase like I love the team that we have, you know, And he's supposed to say that. He's always been good with the media. He's not going to say anything to get himself in trouble or to mess with the team chemistry or anything like that. So I think they're going to be fine. I mean, naturally, they're both going to have this good competitive like energy between each other because they are the two best players on the team, and they're probably just looking at each other like a good sportsmanship competition where they're like, no, I want to show you anything you can do, I can do better type thing, but in a good way because they're trying to one up each other a little bit, and that's with like any two great players or three great players on the team. They all look at each other and they're like, okay, I want to be the guy. So, and I think this year they both accepted their roles on the team, and that's all about Ime Udoka getting them to buy into the team. So I think their relationship and friendship is going to be fine. Um, Jalen Brown in the front office, though, that's gonna we're gonna have to wait and see what how Jalen Brown really feels about that. I mean, he sent out a tweet, but that's initial reaction. Obviously, initial reaction. If you see like, oh, this team that I poured my heart and soul into, and come to find out that they were willing to get rid of me. And it doesn't even matter if it was for KD. Jalen Brown's not going to look at it that way, like, oh, KD's better than me. He's going to look at it. Go ahead, Justin.
But I feel like it kind of hurts a little bit more, being that he can be like, "Yo, I just bounced this guy from the playoffs."
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, 4-0. Yeah, they just did. And no, he's gonna that's what I'm saying. He's gonna feel some type of way about it, but he's not gonna look at it and be like, oh, KD's better than me. He's gonna be like, I can do just as much as KD does on this Boston Celtics team. Like we work together. We've proven that we can do it now. We proved it.
You want to
So
trade me and stuff for this old head who can't even win a damn playoff game?
that's exactly it. I mean, they got swept this postseason. KD's got that on his resume now. That's not a good thing to have. And yeah, you can make the excuses. Oh, Simmons wasn't there, or this, that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you had Kyrie for the whole series. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, the mandate was
yep,
lifted by then.
they had more than enough to win at
Yeah,
least two games that
the
series.
2 games. Like you got like when I think about all the time when Stephen A brings this up with the not Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson back in 2001 against the Lakers. He always said that there's no way in hell that AI and the Sixers are gonna beat the Lakers, right? But guess what? AI will get you one. He'll get you one. And what did he do? He got him that one. Just don't get swept. That's pride in an NBA player. You're one of the best. Show it. That's why a little bit I look at it. Yes, LeBron was overmatched in that 07, 08 finals, whichever one it was. But you expected, like you were like, they're not going to win, but LeBron is one of the greatest players of all time. Get us one, man, in Cleveland. Just get us one win. So and you go to this year with KD, like KD, you had Kyrie next to you. LeBron didn't have a guy on Kyrie's level back in those days. AI didn't have a guy on that level back in those days. You couldn't get us one, my guy. One.
It's true.
Now, briefly, I just want to say, Kevin Durant, would he be better than in Boston than on the Nets playing Kyrie Irving?
Would KD be better in Boston
With Jason Tatum?
with Jason Tatum than Kyrie?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then
Yeah. For me, the answer is
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say
Because
so.
I really do think the relationship is a little bit torn between Kyrie and KD now. There's not many reports on it, but I just there's no way KD doesn't feel some type of way about how Kyrie has handled these years with Brooklyn. There's no way, man.
He
He's the
can't
one
trust
who
him.
talked, huh?
He can't trust him.
He can't trust him, and he did trust him in the beginning. He's the one. He followed Kyrie to Brooklyn. He said, "Kyrie, you tell us. You want to go to New York Knicks or you want to go to Brooklyn?" Oh, I want to go to Brooklyn. And I do want to say this was a long time ago when I said the Knicks were Kyrie's favorite team, and John corrected me and said it was Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn. I apologize for that, but so he was like, "Yeah, let's go to Brooklyn and my hometown team. They're my childhood team. Let's go to Brooklyn and do that." He followed you there, man. And then what did you do in those years succeeding that? You didn't succeed. You sat this whole season. Okay, you don't want to get the vaccine. I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. A lot of people had to get it that didn't want to get it. Okay, a lot of people. You think the whole NBA entire league wanted to get, a lot of them wanted to get that vaccine? Probably not, but they did it to sacrifice for that team. Look at Andrew Wiggins. He's a perfect example. He didn't want to get it. Maybe he was a little bit forced into getting it, and he still talks today that he doesn't feel right about getting it because it's just his belief that he doesn't like that type of stuff. But he got it and sacrificed for the team, the better of the team. He took one for the team. He said, you know what? We are a championship caliber team. We're a better team when I'm on it. I'm going to take this one for the team. And Kyrie decided not to take that for the team. Okay. KD can't feel that type of way. A couple months into the season, he takes 2 weeks off without any explanation. KD, you cannot not feel some type of way about that. No communication whatsoever. And even go to back to the bubble. Kyrie was talking. He was saying nobody should show up for the bubble. Nobody, just don't show up. And he knew. And I heard this from Stephen A. I believe he talked about. He said Kyrie knew that if nobody shows up, guess what? There's a clause in the CBA or something that says if you guys don't do this or whatever, all your contracts are null and void. Nobody's getting paid. And he didn't talk to, I believe CP3 at the time was the head of the Players Association or whatever. He didn't have a conversation with CP while he was doing that. Kyrie does what he wants, and I don't understand how these players don't feel some type of way off the field. Like on the court, off the court. On the court, yeah, you want Kyrie on your team, right? Because he's a superstar talent. He's got the deepest bag in NBA and possibly in NBA history. But off the court, can you trust the guy? He's not showing you anything. The only person who's been able to get a consistent couple of years out of him was who? LeBron.
As Goran Dragic said, every day there is something different, something
Yep.
difficult after their
Yep.
prompt exit in the playoffs.